El Sueño Americano, the American Dream, is a photographic essay of the items and belongings that were carried by migrant and asylum seekers that were confiscated when they were apprehended and taken to a Border Patrol facility. I was the janitor there for 11 years. I asked and was given permission to recover the food. When I started doing that, I immediately encountered what was also being confiscated and discarded by the government: Bibles, rosaries, family photographs. So my project is documenting all the items that I personally found in the trash when I was working at the station. This is the largest exhibition of this work, and the first time that I invited another artist, Elizabeth Z. Pineda. Her work I just came across a couple years ago, and when I was introduced to it, I was floored.
I got the opportunity to meet Tom in person, and then Tom went through the gallery space, and I remember to this day how shaken he was. He kept saying, "Elizabeth, I had no idea. Elizabeth, I had no idea."
Within moments, it's like, my God, this is like the Vietnam Memorial Wall by Maya Lin. I mean, it's just that powerful.
Tom called me the very next day and he said, "We have to do something together."
I just knew in my gut that we have to exhibit together. We have to bring our two bodies of work to further complete the experience.
I'm originally from Mexico City. My parents brought me to the US when I was a child, 10 years old. Children being separated at the border had a big impact on me. Even though this had been my home for many years, I always felt like I couldn't call it home. There was a part of me that had that sense of not belonging. I started making work about my own experience, about the immigrant story. So these issues have been at the heart of some things that I'm really, in a profound way, trying to give voice to and find reasons why it's happening, and perhaps inform others. Thinking about migrants who've perished in the desert has been a theme that became the heart of my work. I was researching, trying to source immigrant documents, much like there are documents of migrants at Ellis Island. I came upon the website Humane Borders that has compiled a database of known migrant deaths in Arizona since the early 80s. Part of what they do is they produce what is known as the Arizona Migrant Death Map, which is in essence a map of Arizona with many red dots along the landscape where people have died in the desert. They're meant to inform people, to let them know not to attempt the trek, because eventually people will die. I sat staring at my screen, horrified. I scrolled and wept. I scrolled and wept and never got to even a third of the entirety of the document. Then I began exploring ways that I could give voice to the document, a document that is a living document of people who no longer have life. What I've done is I've printed the document in its entirety on silk. I leave them mounded on the floor, thinking of the collapsing of the body, that collapsing mound that can probably speak to what happens in those last moments. I print them on silk, thinking of the fragile substrate that it is, thinking also as we move around them, they move with you. It is almost like they're breathing, which is something that they no longer have. My mom is from Oaxaca, Mexico, and in Oaxaca, the people consider corn as a gift from the gods. In Mexico, there's a saying, sin maíz no hay país, without corn there is no country. And so I'm thinking of the different ways in which corn is significant. I also think about it in terms of food as something that's being very accepted. We all love Mexican food, but maybe not all love Mexican people. My documents were deemed invalid when I applied for my passport for the first time in 2019. So issues of belonging, issues of identity, and erasure all flooded me at one point, and I had to prove my identity. And I'd been thinking about paper and documents and the validity of papers, or the weight of papers. And when I saw corn husks, I knew immediately I was going to make cyanotype prints of these documents that were deemed invalid, to give them back what was taken from them when they were deemed not valid.
My hope is that this experience allows the viewer to tap into their own sense of humanity, what that is, and how we treat each other with dignity and respect, to have people to tap into their better self.
Chills ran up and down my spine. I'm a grandson of immigrants. Fortunately, they didn't have to come through the desert.
It's a beautiful exhibit. It's a heartbreaking exhibit. I feel like I need to go home and cry for an hour. It's just a very heavy, moving, tragic reflection of the United States of America right now and our inhumanity to migrants.
I've been really moved already by the reaction of people. And I can see already that sense of humanity and the care for another human being has really already been present. And I'm really grateful for that.